CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Victoria Police asking for your help tonight. They're trying to find the thief or thieves who broke into a storage locker in a Cook Street Village condominium. And this crime hits close to home for CTV News. Among the items stolen is the bicycle that our Myra Lawrence rode in the 2010 Tour de Rock. Myra purchased it after the tour, and for her it carries a lot of memories. The determined thieves didn't break any locks, but they smashed the hinges of the locker doors to get inside. The condo president says it looks like the burglars drilled out a lock on a secure back door, then pried the lockers open. Not the first time the thieves have struck. This building's been hit 5 times this week.
We've been hit during the day at 10 o'clock in the morning, we think, sometime in the morning, and we've been hit late at night. Because this one was Thursday night at 10:30, the owners came down and found, I don't think the owners this, somebody came down and found the thief in progress, rifling through the stuff. And the thief claimed, "Oh, somebody broke into my locker. I'm looking for my stuff. You stay here, and I'll go get the police." And out the door he went.
Vic PD says there are reserve constables available for safety audits. They can check your place and give you tips on how you can prevent thefts like this one. If anyone has any information on the theft or the whereabouts of this bicycle, you're asked to contact Victoria Police. You might have seen Astrid today. You may have seen a few other familiar faces when you went to grab a cup of joe. CTV News was brewing up a storm today at Tim Hortons stores, all in support of Camp Day.
Okay.
You could spot our folks serving up the fresh pots of coffee at Tim's locations around the Capital Region today. Our news team helping to raise money for kids to go to camp for 10 days this summer. All of the proceeds from the coffee sales today will go straight to the children.
The wonderful thing about the camps is it goes to the kids in our area. Any proceeds we make today go directly to, kids who might not otherwise be able to go to camp in this area. Everybody knows, and they come and make it a huge effort to get as many kids as we can to camp.
And long lines all through the noon hour at Royal Oak today. The line moved slowly because of me. The Tim Hortons Children's Foundation raised nearly $10 million at its 3,700 outlets across Canada and the U.S. last year. Well, folks all over the world were looking up, way up last night to catch a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Maybe you caught a glimpse. Mount Tommy and Saanich was packed last night. That's where skywatchers had gathered to get a look at the planet Venus as it made its trek across the face of the sun. That was from our Todd Harmer, who got that last night. Now, the last time that Venus transited the sun was in June of 2004. If you missed it last night, well, you missed it. It isn't going to happen again until 2117. Well, it was a big night for the Victoria High School graduating class of 2012 last night, and of course a bigger night for a student who has waited 70 years to get his high school diploma. We first told you about that last night. An extra diploma handed out at the Vic High convocation ceremony. During the Second World War, a young Japanese-Canadian student was pulled out of school and kicked out of town, declared an enemy of the state, sent to internment camps. But Yon Shimizu has remained a proud Canadian, and last night, although he was not there in person, he rightfully took his place in the class of 42. Our congrats to Shimizu and the entire Vic High class of 2012. The BC Teachers Federation has come out in support of the Cowichan trustees, with BCTF President Susan Lambert leading the charge. Lambert addressed a vocal rally in Duncan late this afternoon, saying the Cowichan trustees are standing up for education and for our children's future.
Well, this is what stewardship means. This means that if you don't have enough resources, you have to stand up for the kids. That's what the Cowichan trustees are doing. We've had a decade of cuts, approximately $3.3 billion worth of cuts to public education over the last 10 years. We know that we're facing another shortfall next year of $100 million.
That's here today.
Members of the BCTF have spent the entire school year locked in a bitter contract dispute with the provincial government. The teachers have staged limited strike action and have withdrawn support for extracurricular activities. The Dinghy Dock Pub on Protection Island near Nanaimo says the rumors of its demise have been greatly exaggerated. The pub recently got into a dispute with the Nanaimo Harbour Ferry Company over that company's right to transport passengers from Nanaimo to the Dinghy Dock. The pub has its own vessel for that purpose, and it depends on it for revenue. Harbour ferries are permitted to drop people off at the Dinghy Dock from other locations, but following the dispute, the company announced it would end service to the Dinghy Dock Pub.
We have a number of Nanaimo citizens as well as Protection Island citizens that have made the mistake believing that we are now shutting off our service to the island. So we very much need to get this cleared up because we are the public transportation for Protection Island, as well as we don't want to mislead the Dinghy Dock customers and tourists.
The Nanaimo Harbour Ferries says there was never any intention to hurt the Dinghy Dock's business or take away its customers. The ferry operators are just following the pub's orders.
I was instructed by, I'm sorry I don't remember the gentleman's last name, John, that we could not access his floats or docks at the Dinghy Dock. So, we're not, it's a non-issue for us. We're just simply not going to do that, and we don't want to create a problem where one doesn't exist. I mean, if we're not to go in there, we're not to go in there, and that's fine. It's a big harbor. We'll just carry on, and I'm sure he will as well.
Harbour Ferries will continue to service the area around Nanaimo's harbour. The Dinghy Dock's own vessel will continue transporting passengers to and from the pub on Protection Island. Well, Nanaimo firefighters have made a large donation to Firefighters Without Borders to help their peers in developing countries. Firefighters pulled together a wide variety of used gear from different stations around the city. Everything from protective clothing to equipment needed to access fires in difficult locations.
It's really rewarding to be able to send gear that we don't use any longer to a country that has gear that's maybe not up to standard or no gear at all, for that matter. For us, it's just, either our standards have changed and we can no longer use it, or our operational needs have changed, so we've taken things out of service. So the gear is good gear, much better than a lot of these countries have.
The group Firefighters Without Borders works to make sure that firefighters in countries around the world are properly equipped and are properly trained, and also assists countries that are hit by natural disaster. The people of Port McNeill are throwing their support behind hometown hero Willie Mitchell and his LA Kings, who are on the ice tonight, hoping that they'll win Game 4 this evening and bring the Stanley Cup back to Vancouver Island. CTV's Gord Kurbis is there for tonight's game, and he says that excitement in the town is contagious. Gord.
Well, Hudson, it's not a bad night weather-wise here on the North Island, a time when people should be working in their gardens or else enjoying nature, or perhaps even out on the waters off of Port McNeill here. But this being the final evening of what could be the final evening of the Stanley Cup playoffs has many here in Port McNeill locked away in their homes or else in local bars as they get ready to watch Willie Mitchell try to take home the Stanley Cup. The best place to gauge how much excitement there is tonight is to head over to Timberline Sports. That's where today everyone was talking hockey.
It's buzzing pretty good. Everywhere you go, they're looking forward. Hopefully we'll wrap it up tonight. But yeah, it's a lot of excitement in town.
And that's where I also ran into Elizabeth Kynes. She's actually the local figure skating coach who helped William, as she calls him, get comfortable out on the ice when he was a youngster.
William has been a great ambassador for the north end of the island, and every chance he gets, he tells people how they have to come to the North Island, to whether it be fish or sightsee. So we've been very fortunate to have William as a spokesperson.
And there was also a great deal of activity taking place over at Sunset Elementary School, where today was Go Willie Go Day. Students made posters cheering on their local hero, and they also got the opportunity to maul a school trophy that once showed how well, once again, young William did in sports when he was in school. That was back in 1987.
Actually, everybody's been pretty jazzed about the whole Willie Mitchell thing, because it's great. I mean, we finally get a chance to have the Stanley Cup maybe come to our town. It's been really exciting.
And they also had a message for Willie, just in case he doesn't win the cup tonight.
Even if they don't win, we still love you.
So there you go, Hudson. Even if Willie doesn't come home with a Stanley Cup, it looks like he'll still have plenty of supporters back home here in Port McNeill.